In this episode, I'm hosting Zehra Çataltepe, a very well-known professor in Istanbul Technical University, which is Turkey's one of the most prestigious universities. She's a very well-known technical woman in Turkey. Together with her husband, Tanju Çataltepe, she founded Tazi Ai in 2015, concentrating on AI and machine learning in auto and health insurance. Based in San Francisco, Tazi Ai has developed an Agile platform on grounds of explainable and reachable AI for all levels of an organization, making a difference through continuous data learning. Tazi Ai is also Gartner's co-vendor in core AI technologies. And not to forget, Zehra Çataltepe has been honored with womaneEntrepereneur of the Year by 3 organizations, including Microsoft Turkey.
Are you ready? Email us at info@tazi.ai for a free demo or visit us at tazi.ai. Tazi.
Zehra Çataltepe, welcome to Turkish people abroad. It's the first time I'm having an interview in English, and it's just because of you, because you are rather based in the States, in San Francisco, and you have a lot of investments there. But I remember the beginning of the story when we met like 4 or 5 years ago at the İçinde, one of the most prestigious universities in Turkey. And you are a very reputable professor there. Everybody knows you. But we knew you through entrepreneurship, because 5 years ago, it was a unique case, founding a company like Tazi Ai, which is a kind of expert in AI and machine learning, and particularly on insurance. So together with your husband, you founded, you initiated for this company, and you have been an example. So how did this story begin?
First of all, Shule, thank you so much for inviting me and Tazi to this. It's an honor to be here. I always get scared when somebody tells me that I'm an example. I almost want to say, hey, don't follow
responsibility.
Yeah, I know. I kind of want to say, everybody, draws their own path, and I believe as long as we don't give up, we continue progressing or moving on. So we started Tazi because we needed it, actually. So I have a machine learning experience of more than 30 years. I got my PhD from Caltech, and then I worked as a postdoc at Bell Labs, startup Stream Center, and then Siemens Corporate Research, and then academia and consulting. And in all of those experiences, I realized that we created machine learning systems. We put them, up in deployment, and then their performance degraded in time. Because unlike what I teach, what we teach in the classes of machine learning, data keep changing. So cats and dogs or apples and oranges, they usually don't change. However, if you are an insurance company, whether your customers are happy with you or not, and under which circumstances change. If you are monitoring a machine, that machine changes in time. So everything changes in time. So when you deploy a machine learning system which learned from the past data, that system gradually starts showing decrease in performance. And then the usual practice was people saw what was happening, and then after the performance was not acceptable, they would just recreate a new machine learning system. But it took a very long time and effort to recreate those systems. And in some companies, the whole team had changed, the priorities had changed. So I have a very successful case, 90% accuracy, and then I got really good results. And then nothing, because the system could not be redeployed for a second time. In the meantime, Tanju was working. He has experience as a CIO and CEO in different enterprises, and his experience was very similar. They were doing things with data and AI, but what they did always needed maintenance, and continuous update of machine learning systems was a problem. And it was actually Tanju who said, we have to create a system, a machine learning system that can learn automatically and painlessly. First of all, I hesitated to establish a company with my husband because, you don't want to put all your but on the other hand, I realized that, hey, this is a person I trust and we can communicate really efficiently and effectively. Why not? So we established Tazi in 2015, and it has been a great journey. So we created a very interesting machine learning system that can continuously learn from data. But then, as soon as we started the company, we had actually customer agreements in place already, because we went ahead and found out who could be interested in a system like ours, and we faced customers right away, and those interactions taught us so much about what kind of a machine learning system is really needed to be effective in different industries. And insurance and finance actually were the first verticals that we got into, and insurance has been more and more pronounced. Today in US, we are targeting solely on insurance.
So together with your husband, as a rare case, you matched perfectly as work partners, and then you found the perfect gap, the territory of insurance to invest on. And then you already had the customers, and then you decided to move to States, which is a very competitive market. By then, when you moved there, it was already a chaos, and you had the courage to go there. And how did the story continue there?
Yeah, so we decided to go to US actually, like in 2017. We already had a US company, and right now Tazi Ai Systems is our parent company. Our headquarters is in San Francisco. And the reason why we had to be in US was because of the basic premise of startups. People keep telling you have to produce a scalable product, right? So that's the basic thing about being a scalable product, scalable startup, because you want to make sure that your revenues can increase exponentially. Mm-hmm. So that exponential increase requires the right kind of market and the right kind of customers. So in US, there are 7,000 insurance companies, and there are brokers, agencies, reinsurers. So it's a huge market. And if you look at the sizes of different problems, auto insurance fraud is a $30 billion problem. So you are talking about huge market sizes and the right place for growth, but scalable growth. Mm-hmm. And in addition, we actually considered New York, Boston, Chicago, and San Francisco as the place to put our headquarters in. And we lived, both me and Tanju, we lived at the West Coast and the East Coast, and we also, all of those cities we stayed, and states we have lived for, quite some time. And then we realized that San Francisco was the place for our startup, because we're a technology startup and insurance companies need our technology. And unlike Chicago's, actually, San Francisco is the place for us because San Francisco has talent, like Bay Area has the talent required to actually create a scalable company. Mm-hmm. So that's why we decided to be in the Bay Area. And we first thought, okay, we will be in both places, San Francisco and Istanbul. We'll just go back and forth. And when I look at my, plane tickets for
Crazy.
18 and 19, I feel so bad. I flew so many times, but it was not sustainable. Not only because of the footprint that I made on the environment, but also because of the time difference. Like when you move from when you move 11 or 10 hours apart, time zones, it was just not possible to continue that. So at the beginning of 2020, I decided to be in San Francisco most of the time, and but then COVID happened. So it was a very interesting journey after COVID, actually. So the Alchemist Accelerator, which is one of the best B2B accelerators in the Bay Area, was a great opportunity, and that actually changed what became of Tazi.
Mm-hmm. So let's continue from here. You just moved, you just chose your city, and I'm sure you had observed the Bay Area and the potential of everything there, and now you are a part of this wild world. But particularly, as you say, I mean, following the pandemic, the issue of insurance has become more and more important. And as you say, the continuous data is the crucial part of what you are doing. So tell us why it is important to have a continuous data. And I know you underline the term of explainable AI and reachable AI, because it's not something only engineers or data scientists are getting involved in, but it's the whole organization we need to talk about, and it's the customers we are talking about, because it's that easy to change a thing by taking a photograph, right? So why is it so important, all the terms you are focused on?
Sure. So we became a Gartner Cool Vendor in core AI technologies in 2019, and we became a cool vendor because of the underlying building blocks of our technology. The first one, we have a system that can learn continuously. So it's not just one algorithm, but the whole pipeline, the whole solution that can adapt itself continuously. We have understandability or explainable AI, but for business users. So when you look at understandable AI literature, the whole purpose is most of the time making AI understandable for data scientists. And we quickly realized, underwriters, claims officers, those people are the users of our system. So we decided to create a solution not for the data scientists only, but for the data scientist and the business user. So we put understandability for data scientists and business user, but most of the time for the business user, because we figured out if you want any machine learning system to work properly, you have to have business users included all the time. Because while the data scientist might think that taking a machine learning system this way is the best because of machine learning metrics, the business person might just look at it and say, you know what? That's a trivial road. That's not a good place to go because of regulations, because of the company objectives, because of whatever, And then they might say, this is the way to go. So in a space like insurance, which has huge differences from state to state, from case to case, we have to have business user understandability. And then it's like the book. If you give a mouse a cookie, he's going to ask for some milk to go with it. I just love that book. So as soon as the business user understands what's happening, they want to make the AI better. So that's why you need understandable AI. And then on top of all of that, you want this mechanism to be used not just by the data scientists, but by business users who don't know how to code, who don't know AI. So we put easy to use and fast to deploy machine learning system on top of those three pillars as the fourth pillar.
Would it be right to say in the following 2-3 years, even I could be using this application?
Yes, and I want my mom to use this system.
That's perfect.
Just graduated from primary
As
school.
easy as it is. You know, they say these kind of applications could be as easy as using an Excel or a Word file, you know.
Yeah, I like. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. Please go ahead. I didn't hear the last
Now, it could be as easy as to use an Excel or a Word file. So that's very, you know, like I say, edge cutting for a lot of perspectives.
Yes.
So we know a lot of companies are investing in your expertise area, not only insurance companies, but also within companies, within organizations. But what is your difference here? I mean, is it the output or the system you are working with? What is the difference? Why should they choose you rather than anybody else?
Sure, that's such a great question. Okay, first of all, about the Excel or Word analogy, I like the car analogy because I want AI to take people to places that they want to go, and places that they could just imagine going, and they thought they didn't have the means to go, but they do have the means to go, and I want them to realize that. And I kind of think of the data scientists as the mechanics, but the real users are the business users right now, but they will also be the end users like you or like my mom in a very short time, actually. And I'll give you an example from insurance industry in a minute. So our difference is our technology, yes, but also the way we implement this technology in insurance companies. Insurance companies have silos. I mean, there are different departments with different objectives, and oftentimes they don't communicate enough with each other. And what we see in our customer retention tool is we have underwriter, actuary, sales and marketing, and IT and data teams sitting at the same table and discussing machine learning outcomes and models, taking actions and observing the consequences of actions continuously. So having a system like this, you know, that agile implementation requires an agile platform. That's our difference. And you need the business teams to actually be able to update the systems without long lines of waiting for the data scientist teams time to be empty. Okay, so that's what we see most of the time. So there's a central data science unit, and then everybody is waiting, you know, for months for them to become available to update the models, for them to, you know, give a new dashboard or a new reporting mechanism. So we overcome all of these by providing dynamic and easily configurable dashboards. We provide continuous reporting of AI metrics and business metrics at the same time. And we also enable the people to actually, the business people, to update the models very easily. So saying, don't use this feature, or this model is too complex, make it less simple, or change this model in a certain way. All of these are things that can be done, operations that can be done by business users as well as a data scientist. Mm-hmm. So that makes the machine learning system to be at the same speed an agile business team requires, serving an agile and changing set of customers and customer needs. So that's our difference. We not only change the way AI is perceived, but we also change the way AI is used. We are changing the way data is used, and the customers are served by the insurance companies. So that's that the strength that comes from our technology, and that implementation, agile implementation in the customers, is our differentiator. And I just want to add one other thing. What happens is when business experts understand the return on investment and the speed at which we get that return on investment. We have deployments in weeks and ROIs observed in months. And when people see that, it's contagious. So one department uses it, the other department wants it too, and we land and expand so that not just one department, but other departments also are able to use this AI. And eventually, my goal is every insurance company to be able to ask any question they want to ask about data or about predictions or prescriptions to the machine learning systems. So I want them to be able to create not just usual models like for customer retention, claim fraud, but more interesting and specific models for that business, for that geography, for that customer. Because sometimes predicting a particular thing about your customer or your problem might make you a better insurance company, and that might be your differentiator serving your customer. So that's why we are different, and why we will be successful.
From what I understand, the whole game will change in the insurance business in the following years. And as I can understand, you want to expand with your platform. You might be interested in some other sectors in the next years. What are they?
Sure. So 2021 for us is the year of insurance. But with our partners, we also have customers that we serve in finance and in retail. We see a lot of opportunities for continuous learning and understandable AI and human in the loop in these sectors. Insurance is a very underserved sector when you look at finance. Finance has more data scientists, faster and more available data, and it's actually not very easy to get into finance. But insurance for us, for a platform as usable as ours, it's the right place to enter the market. But our aim is through our continuous learning technology to start serving especially the larger insurance companies and finance industry as well. And retail is very similar to insurance, because in retail, again, the AI models are owned by data science teams or people who are specialized in certain things, and while most of the organization is left out. So our aim is to also bring our kind of AI to retail as well, because retail is a very dynamic industry. Lots of things happen, and sometimes you don't get the data on time or regularly, and you have those experts who know about what's happening, so they can direct AI in the right direction to reduce costs, to increase efficiency, and again at the end to serve the customer better. So finance and retail are the next.
Mm-hmm. So companies like you, which I call them like tailor companies, niche companies, they just spot at 1, 2, or 3 sectors, and then they blast potentially. This is what's going to happen with you. From what you have been telling me, Where do you see machine learning going in the next period? Because we need machine learning for a lot of reasons, particularly, as you said, insurance, finance, risk management, and retail, particularly following the pandemic. So where do you see we're going as an industry?
Yeah. So I think the whole AI solutions industry and the way we use AI will change in at least two different aspects. One of them is the way we serve AI as a solution. The speed of the and the speed and adaptivity of the solutions will change. AI systems will be like apprentices that learn from us, about us, and help us. For that, right now people talk about understandability because regulations require understandability, because you want to make sure that you obey GDPR or regulations that protect the end user. However, in addition to understandability, continuous and easy learning and deployment will also be very important, because in critical applications, if you do not serve your solution on time, if you don't serve an accurate solution on time, that could mean a person who has a certain disease to be diverted to the wrong department, for example, or a person who needs help not getting the help because the classification system is not working the right way, and it could be updated. If it were updated based on data or human expertise, it would perform much better. So there is still a lot of way to go in terms of making these systems more accurate, more dependable, and more continuously updated. So that's one area where things will go. So AI solutions will be our apprentices that help us in many ways, not just with this or that solution, but many, many different solutions, just like we have engines running, in the room that you are and I am, and I don't even know their existence, right? So AI solutions will be helping us in that way. The other direction I see is consumer or end user benefits and uses. So for example, this fascinates me. So in insurance, for example, insurance companies were born as mutual companies, that actually collect a certain amount of money, and based on the risk, and whoever has an accident get paid, and their car is fixed, and so on. But the current insurance companies have lots of costs, like about 30% of the premiums go to costs. So they can become more efficient, but not just that. They could actually go back to what they were made for, serving the end user, but not just in terms of paying for the accident when the claim occurs, but actually figuring out beforehand, like kind of being like the mom and dad of the insured, because AI systems can actually tell you, I have this segment of people with very little risk, and I have this neighboring segment with lots of risk. And what is the difference between these two? And instead of
transparency.
It's not just it's transparency, which will help us to find that out, but also instead of what's happening right now, saying you are a risky segment, I'm going to increase the prices for you, but that drives especially people with lower income out of the system more and more. So instead of that, what I envision is telling these people, again, just like their mom and dad, telling them, you know what, you are risky because of the following. And if you had done this, you wouldn't be more risky. And the difference, having another segment, a neighboring segment, which is less risky, sometimes might point out to making this segment also less risky.
It's like the handyman. It's like the handyman of the insurance sector, right? You're describing a kind of handyman for the study, which is capable of anything and it provides you all the risks you're taking, which is also affordable and transparent. Perfect.
And of course, yeah. I mean, but you have to you have to make sure that you are respecting people's privacy, of course, right?
Yes.
And you are really helping them, and this has to be a mandate for the insurance companies more and more, because insurance is becoming a more efficient market. Just like the stock market, the price is what the price should be. Most people believe or don't believe in that hypothesis, but insurance market is becoming more and more efficient as most of the processes become more transparent. So the company which serves the customer to be less risky, to have a more comfortable life, or the company that solves customers' real problems will be the customer that the end users and I would prefer. So auto insurance is just one example. Health is a huge domain. I mean, like, imagine if an insurance company had told me, Shule and you are in neighboring segments, but Shule is doing exactly the following. If you had done that too, you wouldn't, your diabetes, you wouldn't have a diabetes problem 10 years from now. I would love that.
Of
I don't
course.
have diabetes problem, but if I could know what to do exactly what you are doing to make me a healthier person, I would do it. But right now we have too many things to do to become less risky, and we cannot do them all. So learning from good examples, learning from successful examples to make our lives easier is, I think, a great contribution. I think that can change the world.
Exactly.
And I believe the world in that way.
Exactly. Your description of AI in the future is like human-centric. That is priceless. And that is very lovely to hear that from you. I mean, a person like you. So we've come to the end. It's been like more than half an hour, and we've come to the end. So would you like to add anything?
Well, thank you so much for letting me try to bring what's happening at Tazi here to your audience, and this is a very interesting journey, and these things happen with teams and with lots and lots of effort. So an AI system, it takes a village to create an AI solution. It takes a village to create an AI startup. So I want to thank, first of all, my co-founder and my team at Tazi, all the friends and supporters in San Francisco, Alchemist Accelerator. They have been our, I just can't describe how to thank them. I just can't thank them enough for helping us out. And of course, Istanbul Technical University, who supported us from the very beginning and who keeps supporting us all the time. So I just want to thank everyone for this incredible journey, and we have a very interesting road ahead of us. So please just keep watching us, and let us know what you think.
Good luck with your journey, and we also as Turkey, we will support you, and because you are one of the great examples of Turkish entrepreneurs abroad and in such a complex market. So good luck with your journey. I'm sure you achieve your goals in the very next term, and everything will be all right for you. It was a very pleasure to have you here finally, because we've been talking about this for so long, and it was the time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Be happy, be healthy. Take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.